What's up, kings and queens? It's your boy Dan from Daft Previews. In today's video, I'm going to preview the two-game slate on the WNBA. I'm going to give you my thoughts, my insights. We're going to be hunting for some unders today because a lot of these girls are unreliable. See what we can do. If that sounds interesting, let's go.
Sub to the channel cause your boy's getting busy. Coming to your line from the west side of Sydney. We've got the free picks and the juice on the daily. It's all free, you don't even have to pay me.
So we're jumping into Props Madness as we always do. The best app you're going to find if you like betting on player props. Encourage you to check it out. 7-day free trial. Plus, you get a juicy discount when you use the code DAFT when you sign up. But before we get into the analysis and insights of this stuff, quick recap on yesterday. Some of the reads were great. Some of the reads were complete ass. And when it comes down to my selections, don't get me started. My bets have not been great. I feel like I read the game quite well. But when it comes to making the selections, I've been a little bit off my game as of late. So in today's video, I'm kind of going to build my short list of players to decide on by going through all these. I haven't looked at the slate just yet. So you'll be seeing my first reaction to a lot of these pretty much for the first time. And then probably in the morning when I wake up, which is going to be a few hours before these games tip off, then I'll probably make my final selections. I'm not worried about getting in early and all that type of bullshit, but we'll see. But let's start hunting, shall we? The first game we've got is the Dream versus the Connecticut Sun. Now, the Dream playing pretty good this season. The Sun, not so much. Firstly, the Dream are 5-2, I believe. 4-game winning streak at the moment. Really balanced offense, shooting a lot of threes, pretty good defense as well. Whereas the Connecticut Sun, they're struggling. 1 from 6. They've lost 6 out of the last 7 games. Oh, fuck, that's pretty obvious. That's what 1 from 6 means. But if you're looking at props, the way I like to look at this is Connecticut Sun team especially. We've only got props for 4 players available, but Tina Charles, Marina Mabrey, they're going to see all the ball. Their usage rate is sky high. They take most of the shots on this team. I like to determine out of these two who has the better matchup, and usually by taking it over on one of them, it seems to work quite well. Tina Charles has been pretty reliable for me this season. Marina Mabrey, I haven't had the balls to bet on her, to be honest, but let's take a look. So Tina Charles, points line 15.5, 4 out of 7 games up against Atlanta. 11 points the last time they played. This was about 9 days ago. What are we looking at? A 9.5 point spread. Now, Tina Charles has a fantastic matchup here. So let me take you through the matchup. I'm not saying to bet the over, but 15.5 points, 16 points as an average, a 57% hit rate this season. 15.5 is quite low. The matchup is a pretty good one. Firstly, in play type, she scores a lot of her points in the post and is the pick and roll man. That accounts for half of her points. And you can see here that this team that she's up against, the Dream, bottom 3 in the league in terms of defending both of those. So the play types, fantastic. If we look at the shot chart, she scores 43% of her points in the restricted area, 22% in the non-restricted area in the paint. So a lot of paint work and mid-range for Tina Charles. Whereas if you look at the defense of the Dream, they're terrible in all 3 of those spots. So it's a fantastic matchup, I must say myself, for Tina Charles. Now, she's got 11 points the last time they played. And if anything, that only supports the over a little bit more. A strong trend that I've noticed in the WNBA this season is when these teams tend to face each other in a very short window in a time span, the games rarely replicate themselves. Usually, the complete opposite tends to happen in terms of player props. It's quite wild how often that happens. So for Tina Charles to struggle in the last one, 11 points in 30 minutes, they lost by 24. She shot 5 for 20 in that game. She took 20 shots, which is unbelievable. Out of curiosity here, I just want to look at her field goal attempts just to see what happens when she takes more than 18 shots. This is going back to last season. So if Tina Charles takes between 18 and 22 shots, she actually has had a few stinkers. She's only over in 4 out of 7 games. So inefficient nights like she just had, I wouldn't say they're rare. So these things do happen. So taking this bet on volume alone isn't a strong reason. But the reason why I would take it is the fact that she would have learned a few things from that game. She's going to make some adjustments, I would assume. She's probably going to get to the free throw line a little bit more as well. I think it's a good bounce back spot. Not only did she struggle last time against the Dream, she struggled in her last matchup against the Liberty, facing the Dream once again at home. Tina Charles to go over. That's definitely a lean of mine. Rebounds for Tina Charles at 6.5. When 6.5, I would lean to the under immediately, but heavily juiced to the under as well. I wouldn't be surprised if this moves to 5.5. She did have 7 rebounds last time against the Dream, and that was despite the Connecticut Sun getting smacked. So it might be something to do with the matchup there. Brianna Jones, Brittany Grant didn't play that last game. Looking at the numbers, it's meant to be a tough matchup for rebounding for Tina Charles. They allow the fewest rebounds to her position, third fewest rebounds overall, but she did get 7 rebounds last time in a blowout loss. So I don't know. It's a little bit convoluted for me, so I'll probably pass on anything there. But Tina Charles to score some points, I don't mind that. Looking at Marina Mabry over 15.5 points. She's averaging 15 this season, 3 out of 7. And Marina Mabry, it's a tough one for her because the Connecticut Sun have been blown out quite a few times. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So 4 out of the 7 games they've lost by 20-plus points. And not surprising, most of those games, Marina Mabry has struggled. Last time against the Dream, 34 minutes, 12 points, only 4 from 14. So she didn't see the volume that Tina Charles did, that's for sure. 2 from 7 from 3. Let's look at the matchup a little bit more. So what's good for Marina Mabry is that the Dream allow the most points to pick and roll ball handlers. So that's fantastic. But they allow the fewest points in the league to spot up shooters. So that's not good. Looking at her season shot chart, we can see here Mabry scoring a lot of her points above the break, and sometimes she makes some layups. That's pretty much what that tells me. And this Dream team, they allow very few points above the break. In fact, they defend the three-point line extremely well. The fewest 3-point attempts allowed in the league. So that probably doesn't suit Marina Mabry too well. Now, I'm not saying this is an under type of game because Marina Mabry might take 15 to 20 shots, but there's enough contradictions in there for me to not want to bet it. So probably pass on that. Marina Mabry assists. She had 4 assists last time they played. I wonder if there's a correlation between Marina Mabry getting assists and Tina Charles scoring. Well, there clearly isn't. She had 4 assists in this game, and Tina Charles sucked. So that throws that one out the window. She does get a lot of her assists in the restricted area, though, which is a very soft spot for the Dream. Out of curiosity, let's take a look at this. So this chart's now showing us the opposition's assist on her favorite zone, which is the restricted area. So we can see here, soft matchup, but this was a soft matchup. She finished with 2. So there's no direct correlation between softer matchups yet. Obviously, we're dealing with a small sample size to Marina Mabry assists. So I think that's a difficult one to cap. And then looking at her rebounds, 4.5. She had 10 rebounds last time against the Dream, which is huge. Is that an outlier? Potentially. Which is strange. She rebounded well. Tina Charles didn't rebound at all. And now this is where I wonder, because Tina Charles, she had strong rebounding in these games when Marina Mabry didn't get rebounds. And then in these games here, Tina Charles struggled to rebound. So there could be some correlation here. If Tina Charles is not grabbing rebounds, Marina Mabry probably is. Now, in this matchup, Marina Mabry, typically they try to hide her from defending a Ryan Howard or an Alicia Gray. So they try to get her on some low usage players, and she aggressively chases defensive boards. So there could be some correlation there. Marina Mabry to go over her boards, Tina Charles to go under. That could be a potential look here. But do I love Marina Mabry for over 4.5 rebounds? Not necessarily, but there's correlation there, right? If you put Tina Charles and Marina Mabry together, you're looking at plus 200 odds or maybe 3x on those DFS apps as well. That could be an angle that I don't mind. But yeah, I'll probably pass on Marina Mabry unless we're looking at taking her over in rebounds, combining with Tina Charles to go under hers. So let me take a look. All right, let me take a look at Tina Charles rebounds again. Yeah. So Tina Charles, 10, 5, 5, 7, 6. So Tina Charles pretty much under in her line most of the games. Did go over in this game against the Dream, though, and so did Marina Mabry, actually. So maybe that thought process could be thrown out the window, because if actually, I remember this game. In this particular game, the Dream, it's not like the Dream's offense was slinging, right? Like they were still missing a lot of shots. The reason why it was such a blowout loss here is that the Connecticut offense sucked. They struggled. So Yeah, probably stay away from the rebounds there. But Tina Charles to score some points. There might be something I can muck around with. Now, getting into some of the star players here for the Dream. We've got Ryan Howard, who is inconsistent as hell when it comes to scoring. Takes a whole lot of shots, but the quality of them is questionable. Her point line's at 17.5. The line's at 17.5. She's averaging 17.6. She only had 11 points in that blowout win against Connecticut last time. She took 17 shots. She only made 4 of them. But Ryan Howard is a chucker. She takes bad shots, and she takes a lot of them as well. Looking at the matchup, she scores in transition, isolation, spot up, gets to the free throw line, and in the pick and roll. She's pretty well balanced offensively. That doesn't make her efficient. She also likes to score above the break. 60% of her points, 3-pointers above the break. Good matchup here, the Connecticut Sun. Not a great defense out there. So I'd say for Ryan Howard, the matchup is good. What you can't predict with Ryan Howard is how well she's going to shoot the ball. So I'll probably stay away from her points. Her assist line at 4.5. This is heavily juiced to the under. I saw someone smashing the opening line early to take the under and assist, and that's because Jordan Canada's back. With Jordan Canada back, the Dream finally have a pure point guard, you could say, running their offense. It's not a combination of Ryan Howard and Alicia Gray. So the under does make sense there, but it is heavily juiced, so I'm not going to waste anybody's time on that. Rebounds. She's been rebounding like a beast lately. Now, initially, we started to see this big lift here in these 2 games, and then Brittany Griner was out for 2 games. She had massive rebounding games. Then Brittany Griner came back, and the rebounds continued to flow. So she had 8 rebounds against Connecticut last time. Looking at the matchup here, Connecticut below average in rebounds allowed, second most rebounds allowed to Ryan Howard's position. They do have the worst defensive rating. Looking at other types of guards / forwards, nothing screaming out to me there. So what I'll say on this on Ryan Howard is that the rebound line looks great. Actually, the odds for it are terrible, though, heavily juiced to the over. But she's hit this in 5 consecutive games, so I can't help but say that this looks nice. But I've made a lot of bets that look nice, and they don't win. So as great as the hit rate looks, unless I can understand why this happens, and I believe she can replicate it, then, potentially not. But and the other thing to keep in mind is this 8 rebounds she had against Connecticut last time. I said it a bit earlier, the Connecticut Sun offense just struggled in that game. They were awful. They were missing a ton of shots. So I'm not surprised we saw some big rebounding efforts from the Atlanta Dream players. So for Ryan Howard, I'm just going to stay away. Can't trust her shot. The assists, the odds are terrible. And the odds are terrible for her rebounds as well. So how about with Alicia Gray? 16.5 points. She's over this in 4 straight, 5 out of 7 this season, averaging 21.4 points per game. Alicia Gray's been balling. Now, she doesn't take the volume that Ryan Howard does, but she does shoot with a much better efficiency. Actually, I've only bet on Alicia Gray once this season, and this was her worst game of the season. Up against the Fever. That was the game where I bet on her. Outside of that, she's been an absolute beast. And let's look at her matchup. Most points allowed to spot up shooters. Yes, perfect. Below average in transition, allow points at the free throw line. So that's pretty much how Alicia Gray scores her points. With Jordan Canada coming back in, if anything, I think this is going to open up Alicia Gray to even more spot-up shooting opportunities, which I like. She scored 18 points against Connecticut last time from only 11 shots in that 24-point win. She played 33 minutes. I don't think Jordan Canada is going to take usage in terms of shot volume away. Alicia Gray, Ryan Howard probably still see a lot of ball. I think 16.5 points here for Alicia Gray doesn't look too bad. She's a very efficient shooter, so these aren't like one-offs. If we have a look at her season so far, Alicia Gray shooting 52% on the season. Last season, she shot 41%. So maybe this season is an outlier because last year at 41%, this year at 52%, combining them both, we're looking at 42% because we've got a very small sample size so far this season. So, okay, Alicia Gray shooting out of her mind. I think that's enough for me to pump the brakes because, the hit rate on this is fantastic. The matchup is nice. The only hesitation there is knowing that she's shooting so much better than she would normally shoot, I would say. Although I still like it. The matchup is so good for Alicia Gray. The matchup is fantastic. This Connecticut Sun team's defense sucks. They allow points in the paint. They allow points above the break. And someone from the Dream is going to put up some points, right? So, Alicia Gray, I'd definitely prefer to bet on her than Ryan Howard. But yeah, let's have a look at the assists. 3.5. She's averaging 4.6 this season. No Jordan Canada, though. I want to look at last season with Jordan Canada in the lineup. She averaged 2.7 assists last season. 7 out of 22 games is her hit rate. So she went under heavily. And we're getting under 3.5 assists at plus money. So that's really interesting. So this season, yeah, she's had some breakout games. Only 3 assists last time against them. I think there could be some value here in betting the under on Alicia Gray. And look, this might be one of those players where you're like, what the fuck are you thinking? She's averaging 4.6. It's heavily juiced to her going over. Why would you bet the under? And I'm like, because it might be the only path to victory right now, to bet like a crazy motherfucker. And yeah, Alicia Gray, over points, under assists, they're 2 things that I'm leaning. And I think these are fantastic odds. Plus 120. Alicia Gray to go under 3.5 assists. I don't mind it at all. And I know the matchup sucks. They allow the 4th most assists in the league. But Alicia Gray, she's probably not going to be doing as much playmaking duties now that Jordan Canada's back. So I know maybe a lot of people are betting Ryan Howard under 4.5 assists, but I think you could apply the same thing here for Alicia Gray. Yes, it's a 1 assist line lower, but fantastic odds at plus money. So yeah, Alicia Gray, I might be interested in that. Brittany Griner, 13.5 points. She's only played 5 games this season. She just came back from injury in her last game. She only played 15 minutes, scored 2 points, 1 from 7. She sucked. Up against Connecticut today, and I don't know. The matchup is, I can't tell you whether it's good or not, because Brittany Griner scores 54% of her points in the post, right? That's a very dominant play type. But the Connecticut Sun, they allow the fewest points in the post this season. But she scores 55% of her points right under the basket, and the Connecticut Sun allow the most points around the basket. So it's like it's a kind of good matchup, but it isn't. But Brittany Griner, only 1 game back from injury. I think getting her minutes is probably a bit unpredictable. Does she go back to 30 minutes? Do they ramp her up slowly? So that's probably a hesitation of mine. Rebounds, lines at 6.5. Normally her rebound line's at 7.5. 6.5, I think that assumes, because it's not a tough matchup to get rebounds, I think that assumes the books are anticipating her not to play her normal 30 minutes, probably less. So, yeah, Brittany Griner, I'll probably have to pass on that. We've got Breonna Jones over 13.5 points. She's averaging 13.9 this season. She scored 8 points last time against Connecticut. That's her season low. Let's take a look. Her minutes are pretty decent, 31 minutes per game. Very similar to Griner, scores a lot of her points right around the basket, but she does it in more ways than just posting up. There's a lot of cutting, some putback stuff in there. So even though she's hit the over a couple of times, I don't love this, but I guess the same rules apply, right? Just because it happened last time when they played, usually something dramatically different happened. So you could say that this is a bounce back spot here for Breonna Jones. And I don't think anyone's going to be betting her over 13.5 points, because the last time she played Connecticut, she only took 5 shots in 27 minutes and finished with 8 points. So it'd be ridiculous to bet the over, right? They don't allow points in the post, but yeah, it might make sense. It doesn't make any sense to bet the over, and chances are she probably does. So I'm not going to bet on Breonna Jones, but I just want you to remember this if you're watching it. If Breonna Jones goes over this, I might be onto the best strategy in the game. All right, just bet the opposite of what happened last time. Now looking at boards, 8.5 rebounds. She started the season on fire, rebounding like a beast. Last 2 games, not so much. Only 2 and 5 rebounds in those last 2 games. But the Sparks do have 2 bigs who stretch the floor. The Seattle Storm, they've got some 4s that stretch the floor, not necessarily 5. So I don't know what the hell's happened with Breonna Jones in her rebounding, but it has fallen off quite a bit. So I'm not too interested on that. But yeah, that's pretty much it from that game. So wrapping up the Dream and the Sun. Let me just figure out where I'm at right now, because I haven't taken any notes. Tina Charles, I lean to her over in points. Marina Mabry probably lean to her over in rebounds. Alicia Gray, lean to her over in points. Lean to her under in assists. I think that's tremendous value. That could be a value play right there for Alicia Gray. We'll see. But yeah, I think those are the ones that caught my interest so far. Then we have the Sparks versus the Wings. Now, Both teams are on a losing streak at the moment, I believe. The Sparks are 2-6, the Wings 1-7 so far this season. So, yes, a nice spot. Somebody's finally going to win a game. What do we got? We've got a 1.5 point spread, and we've got an extremely high total, 172.5. In comparison, the Dream and the Connecticut Sun, 157. So we're expecting a lot more points in this game. It could mean it's a good game for overs. It probably doesn't mean that at all, but that's just where my casual mind goes. Let's talk about these Dallas Wings first. So Paige Beckers is still out. Enrique has sucked in the 2 games without Paige Beckers. Her line's at 17.5. She scored 15 and 8 points in the 2 games, 15 and 16 shots, but just shooting like shit. Her field goal percentage has been awful. Up against the Spark today, it's a pretty soft matchup. They're not good at defending the spot up. They are good at defending the pick and roll, though, but they do give up points above the break. I don't think I'm down for the Enrique experience right now. Is it a bounce back spot? Like potentially, but her last game was a bounce back spot, right? To shoot better, and she still got worse. But this is a softer matchup for her. Then looking at her assists, 4.5 assists for Enrique. She's averaging 3.8 this season. Paige Beckers goes down. She gets 2 and 3 assists. I'd actually love to bet the under in this, but the odds for it suck. So under 4.5 assists for Enrique. My thought process here is, even though Paige Beckers is out, they're still playing Enrique off the ball. Dejanay Carrington is actually doing a bit more playmaking duties. Enrique is not really looking to pass to anybody. She'd prefer to take a terrible step back. So, yeah, even though the matchup's a little bit soft for assists, I think 4.5 assists is too high. So, yeah, where does my mind go with this? Enrique, we take under 4.5 assists and maybe parlay it with something for Enrique to score. Shit, I can't even take it for 15 points. But surely she scores 15. Surely she does. I'm trying to talk myself into this. Well, she scored 15 plus points in the 3 soft matchups she's had this season. Connecticut and the Sky. Up against the Spark, which is another soft matchup. So I could be looking at Enrique for 15. It could be just even 10 points if they give it to me. 10 points, but under in her assists. I do like the under in her assists. But Dejanay Carrington, over 13.5 points. I like this, and it has nothing to do with her hit rate, although that does support it. She's over this line in 5 out of 8 games, 13 points per game. Since Paige Beckers went down, 16 and 22 points for Dejanay Carrington, 15 and 21, which is just crazy. Like, if we just look at her last 2 seasons, I haven't seen this before, but hopefully it doesn't make me look an idiot. If we look at games where she takes, let's just go 13 plus shots. She's over this line in 14 out of 17 games. So even though she's taken 15 and 21, I'm being a bit conservative here. Let's go 13 to 17. So take a look. 13 to 17 shots over this line in 12 out of 15 games, averaging 16. So just on volume alone for Dejanay Carrington, I like it. The matchup is probably not the best, but this Seattle Storm matchup was an awful matchup for her, and she absolutely blitzed them. So Dejanay Carrington to score some points, I do like that. That's a very easy one. I remember watching the last game, wishing I had bet on Dejanay Carrington. Not going to make that mistake today. Looking at her boards, 4.5. I have no interest in trying to break down this. She's a guard. Do guards get mini rebounds? Not essentially. So let's just keep moving. Maddie Siegrist. No, her line is always the same, and she always seems to finish on about 11 points. So I don't think there's an edge there. Nalissa Smith. It's extremely unpredictable that when and how she scores. She gets to the free throw line more than anything. Scores in the pick and roll, spots up, scores a little bit of this, a little bit of that. She was great against the Sky, terrible against the Storm. Her matchup against the Sparks somewhat difficult as well. She'll probably play 23 to 25 minutes here. How many shots does she get up? Maybe 6, maybe 7. I don't know. This Dallas Wings offense is still confusing me a little bit. So probably passing on anything on Nalissa Smith, as much as I would love to bet an under right now. But we've got Kelsey Plum, 22.5 points. She's hit this in 4 out of 8 games, averaging 22.9. Her last 2 games, she has struggled against the Aces and the Mercury, but these are more difficult teams. She's up against the Dallas Wings today, who absolutely suck defensively. The Dallas Wings, 3rd worst defensive rating this season, but the matchup specifically for Kelsey Plum is not the greatest. They allow the 3rd fewest points to pick and roll ball handlers. They also allow the 5th fewest points to above the break threes, where Kelsey Plum. Those are 2 dominant types. If we dive a little bit deeper, they give up free throws, points in transition, and spot-up shooting. Although Plum's capable, that's not a very dominant way that she likes to score. So if anything, that tells me that somebody else like a Jerica Hamby, a Odyssey Sims, I think they've got better matchups here. But just because the matchup sucks doesn't mean it's not worth betting. I think that's one thing we got to keep in mind. I don't want to bet under 22.5 points because I know this Dallas team is, as much as the matchup's probably not the best, they're not a great defensive team. Kelsey Plum could use this as a nice bounce back spot here. So, and you can see it here with this blue graph. This is the defensive rating one I've just flicked it to. As you can see here, this is one of the softest matchups she's had in quite some time. The last time she had a soft matchup was against the Dream, 27 points, and the Sky, where she scored 28. This Dallas Wings team, just as bad. So, yeah. Could be a bounce back spot here for Kelsey, but I'm not willing to take it. Assists 5.5. She's over this in 3 out of 8 games. Heavily juiced to the under. She's averaging 4.8 assists. The Dallas Wings allow the most assists in the league, and they allow it everywhere. And this is the thing that sucks about potential assists not being tracked in the WNBA. Don't know the potential assist numbers here for Kelsey Plum. So you could say that these assist numbers are low because the matchup was tough, or it could be low because she's not passing the ball. So yeah, I'm going to probably pass on Kelsey Plum altogether. We'll see what happens with her. We've got Jerica Hamby, 16.5 points, 3 out of 8, 17.6 this season. The matchup against the Wings is a good one for her. They give up points at the line. They give up points to spot-up shooters. They give them up in the pick and roll and in the post and putback and transition. Pretty much in every way that Jerica Hamby has scored a basketball in her life, this Dallas Wings team, they suck at defending it. They do lack size down low. They've got size off the bench, but Tierra McCowan doesn't really play too much. So even though Hamby's gone under this quite often, I'd still be leaning to the over here, to be honest. She scores a lot of her points in the paint. The Dallas Wings, they're actually mid-tier, in 7th out of 13 teams in terms of points in the paint allowed. So the matchup's not the greatest. It's not difficult either. Jerica Hamby could definitely get it done. Scoring inside, scoring outside as well. So I'll probably lean to the over there for Jerica Hamby, but at 16.5, it doesn't excite me too much. What do we have? Assists. I'm not betting on Jerica Hamby to get assists. These feel like outliers, the 6s. We've got rebounds, 8.5 is the line. She's only hit this in 3 out of 8, 7.9 to average this season. Books lean to the over here. What do we have here? 8 out of 12. Other forwards have covered their rebound line. She's got a good rebounding matchup. They give it the 4th most rebounds in the league, 3rd most to her position. Play with quite a fast pace as well. So for something like Jerica Hamby, maybe a points and rebounds I can get with. Because I don't mind her points. I don't mind her rebounds. It all makes sense. She's only hit this line 3 out of 8 games, but it is a really soft matchup. But I feel myself betting the way that I have been so far in the W. And this just like makes too much sense in my mind. So if it's obvious, when it's obvious, there's no edge. I think I wrote that down today. Yeah. So as much as I like this, I probably won't bet it because it seems too straightforward to me. The matchup sucks. The matchup is perfect, if you ask me. Like, it's always a perfect matchup for her to score some points. So I don't know. I'll see how I feel about Jerica Hamby in the morning. Azurá Stevens, no, I don't want to look at her. She's been sucking. Odyssey Sims, though. Odyssey Sims have been balling. 10.5 points. She's over in a 4 out of 8, 11.5 to average this season. Another great matchup here against the Wings. Free throws, spot-up shooting, scoring in transition. That's Odyssey Sims. We've got here 10 out of 14 guards have covered their point signing against the Dallas Wings. We've got a close game, high total. 10.5 points is not high. Like, you can get that done in 3 to 4 shots. Not really 3, but you know what I mean. It's given how many points are expected to be scored in this game, 10.5 points for Odyssey Sims. It's probably not a big one. But the one thing I'll call out here is a lot of these games where she's played very well were without Rickeya Jackson. So let me have a look at this. She's missed a bit of time. With Rickeya Jackson, who is playing today, Odyssey Sims is under this line in every single game. But without Rickeya Jackson, she's over this line in 4 out of 5 games, averaging 16 points. So, yeah, Rickeya Jackson is expected to play in this one. So I probably don't love that one as much. And the books are not giving us any lines for Rickeya Jackson either, which this is a bit of a trap if you ask me. I'm not saying she goes under, but It's like not seeing Rickea Jackson in there. You could just easily go through all the plays and think, oh, this player's got the best matchup. She's got the best hit rate. It all makes sense to bet the over here. And typically I would have bet this already, but nah. You ain't trapping me today. So what am I thinking about this game? Arike Ogunbowale under her assists. Dejanay Carrington to score some points. If they had Dejanay Carrington assist lines, I'd be all over that, but they don't. But she has been diamond up nicely as well. Even a PRA, if we can catch a PRA, I think that'd be good. But yeah, Dejanay Carrington over her points prop, I think that's a nice look. Arike under her assists. And from the spark, I can't help but lean towards Jerica Hamby. Jerica Hamby points and rebounds. They're probably the two legs that I like from her. But yeah, I'm going to create a short list of these. I'll probably decide on my picks in the morning. Like, I don't care if lines move or not. Like, I have been on the right side of line movement on almost every single bet that I've taken. I've had amazing closing line value in almost every single bet. They still fucking lose anyway. So catching lines early and all that type of bullshit doesn't interest me right now. I'm going to get to bed early, get a good night's rest, and make these decisions when my mind is fresh instead of right now where I'm tired as fuck. But as I mentioned in my last video, I'll be running all my straight picks anyway that I land on through Player Profit. I've done the math. I paid 10 units to get the biggest bankroll, 100K bankroll. That's 10 units for me. And the way I thought about it is I'd have to lose 15 units in order to fail the challenge. So it was a no-brainer in terms of potential profit. Massive profit to be won provided I can get it funded. So it just makes so much sense for me to bet on Player Profit. I encourage you guys to check it out, do some math. What's 10 units for you? Buy the appropriate challenge and see how you go. It forces you to be disciplined. It's a great challenge. And man, if you can get through successfully, there's a lot of money to be made. So go ahead and check out Player Profit. If you use my code when you buy a challenge, you get a 10% discount on it anyway. I'll leave links to that down below in the video description. But outside of that, if you did like this video, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, drop me some comments down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Out of all the picks that I kind of discussed today, all my leans, are there any particular ones that stand out to you? Is there any that I should just completely avoid because I come across like a drunk person? Help me out here. But I do appreciate it if you made it this far. I wish you the best of luck on this upcoming slate. Let's go.
Sub to the channel cause your boy's getting busy. Coming to your line from the west side of Sydney. We've got the free picks and the juice on the daily. It's all free, you don't even have to pay me.